All right, the hacker group Dark Overlord made good on a promise by releasing secret documents they say shows the truth behind the 9/11 attacks. The hacker group threatened Wednesday to release the documents unless paid an unspecified amount in Bitcoin. Hours later, they announced a plan in which the public could unlock those documents themselves by paying up in Bitcoin. And then Thursday, the group announced they had received about $12,000 in Bitcoin. So as a result, they released about 650 of those docs, all believed to be stolen from insurance companies, law firms, and government agencies. Now, the documents were immediately scrubbed offline. It's being called layer one of a 4-layer dump that will, quote, burn down the U.S. deep state. Now, the hackers are asking for a total of $2 million for the full leak. So the group first emerged back in 2016 and has been responsible for numerous hacks. So for more on this, I was joined earlier today by investigative journalist Ben Swann for his thoughts.
Look, the bottom line is, I think when you take a look at these 9/11 papers, there are a lot of people who are hopeful that they will get answers to questions that have not been answered, because there are so many unanswered questions regarding 9/11. The problem is that so far, Dark Overlord and this hacking group says they're not hacktivists. They don't really care about the truth. They care about getting paid. So how do we trust that there's anything actually in there? Because by the time it's all said and done, if they get their $2 million in Bitcoin, and there's really nothing in there, then everyone gets duped. So I think there's a lot of people who are looking at this cautiously, as they should.
And Ben, we already know that prior to this particular hack, there is some existing lawsuits already from the families against the Saudi kingdom for their ties to the hijackers. That's no secret. Could there be something in those yet to be released documents that'll prove a more damning or a more smoking gun, if you will?
So I think the thing that a lot of people who watch 9/11 closely, and the people who are called truthers, I suppose, but people who have really tried to study 9/11, what they would be most interested in is less about those lawsuits and more about the insurance issues with the buildings themselves, the 2 towers, and then that third building that fell on 9/11. And one of the reasons people are interested in that is because of the insurance money that was paid out from that, and the fact that many people have believed, I've actually reported on this before, but many people believe, if you watch the video, that the 3rd tower that collapsed was actually a intentional implosion of that building. And the claims that were made about it by the government was that it was office furniture catching fire from one building, falling and hitting another, caused the whole thing to implode. And so there's a lot of people questioning that. If that information were in there, something that indicated in the insurance and within these documents going back and forth that there was an implosion, not of the 2 towers, we know planes hit those towers, but of the 3rd building that gets so little coverage, I think there would be people very interested in that. I don't know that they have anything related to that, but I think that's what a lot of people would be looking for.
Okay, so aside from highly flammable furniture, talking about that, these hackers are demanding payment via Bitcoin specifically. What, if anything, does that indicate to you? Does it say something to you, or is this just a plain old simple case of extortion?
Well, I think what it says is that they're smart about their money. If you want to get paid in Bitcoin, that's the way to go, for one thing, because it's untraceable, in theory. There's actually better crypto they could be using if they don't want to be traced. We can talk about that some other time. But the bottom line is, if they want to get paid in Bitcoin, to me, some of it just smells a little bit fake, I got to tell you. And part of the reason for that is because, you know, especially at a time when there's so much criticism of Bitcoin, how it's a criminal currency, and then you have these guys doing that. It just, there's something that doesn't feel right about a lot of this to me. And again, this is Dark Overlord, no matter who it is or who they are, is no WikiLeaks, right? They're not saying, hey, this is information and we're passing it on to the public because we believe that's the right thing to do. They're actually saying the opposite. They're saying it's not about the right thing. And so I feel like I would be highly skeptical of this and think that there's a lot of an attempt to dupe people going on here. And
Dark Overlord, you know, isn't a new hacking operation. They're pretty organized. They're very sophisticated, especially in how they deal with the press, with us. They provide journalists with teasers. They issue press releases. So if the intent is just to really benefit financially, have the press, as you say, have we been duped? Are we just a pawn in Dark Overlord's scheme and sort of applying more pressure to the companies that have been hacked, including the government?
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe that's the case, right? They're getting free publicity by us talking about it on one hand. On another hand, I think the fact that they are releasing any papers related to 9/11 could be of news interest. The problem is, I know that, for instance, even RT reached out to these guys and was told, well, you can buy it from us, right? And so then it becomes a problem there. But here's the other thing. If you look at some of the things, and you're making a good point, the Dark Overlord didn't just show up yesterday. This hacking group's been around for a while, but think about the things they've hacked in the past too. Things like plastic surgery pictures, Netflix's season of Orange is the New Black. I mean, they're, again, to put them in any category alongside a legitimate hacking organization like a WikiLeaks.
All hackers, they have interests too, you know, all hackers, whether they're hacktivists or just plain old hackers, they have the things that they like too. There's interesting stuff that could come out of a plastic surgeon's office, like, you know, Kim Kardashian's butt real, you know, stuff like that. But in this case, it seems like a lot of people are talking about this, and it's a hot topic, and it'll continue to be a hot topic for years, like the JFK assassination.
Well, and I agree, but what I would hope is this, that ultimately, if there is something there, Dark Overlord, if you're listening, we know you watch, I would say this, if you have something great, if you have something that actually is meaningful to people, then release it, and then ask people who have been looking for this truth to contribute to you financially after the fact, because there are lots of people who would do that, just like they have done with WikiLeaks. But asking people to pay you $2 million up front for something that may or may not be real, I don't know, it just feels icky to me.
But what I'm hearing, Ben, is let us try the dress on first, see if we like it, and then we'll buy it. So Dark Overlord, show us your hand a little bit, and maybe the press will play ball.
Something.
That's right. Gotta show us something. All right, we'll leave it right there, my friend, on a fun Friday talk. Ben Swann, as always, thank you so much.
Thanks, Manila.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.